Sunday service with people in it.
Yeah.
Something different. All right, from the Home Center Ministerial Team, our Minister of Prayer, Reverend Joe Pinecoffer, our opening prayer this morning. This month, our thoughts and messages will shift towards love and gratitude, as is our custom here at the Home Center for the month of November. God, focus if necessary to be in the attitude of gratitude in all that we do through November. I would like to thank Reverend Joe for over 300 prayers that he's been instrumental in providing for us all our Sunday and Wednesday services for the past 3 years. I know the spark of creation he has provided to build our opening prayers with is the act of gratitude that enables us to begin each service with love and positive energy. Bless you, Reverend Joe. And in love and light, it is so. Amen.
To remind us, we have strength. We were given this life because you're strong enough to live it. And for me, my whole life is around this sky right here. That full moon. That was my garbage collector. Every time I had a bad thought or idea, I threw it up to the full moon because I put my human energy to it and says, I want my freedom. And I tell you, once you make a make a deal with God, your life is never the same. So that's what I want to do today, is talk about why I pray to God. God for the day is the power of God, the supreme power. That's the power that are ordained by God. But since God exists everywhere, and the power of God is everywhere, we recognize it, not only in the present, but in all power. When we rely on a greater power than we are, it is our strength. But ours is not the power. We call upon the power to perform the task for our highest and greatest good. And it's interesting to realize how much power is in it. To me, the full moon is the power because it affects the moisture in the earth. And if you want to get rid of your negative energy, just exhale it and say, okay, moon, take it away, make it go away. And every time I turn on the television, you always talk about what's coming up, panics. Everybody's going one direction or another. We're under attack by the pandemic since February. It's been 9 months ago so far. All I can say is, those of you that showed up for my birthday party, that was the best party I've ever had. Since then, it's still the best party because we aren't doing any parties. So, boom! I'm glad we did that one. Thank you very much. All of you that participated in it, that's the only thing I think about from time to time is having Dolly Parton entertaining me and all of the people showing up, and I'm thinking, I have something to hang on to. I got something to hold on to. And we're entering the 10th month, the beginning of the gathering of families and friends for Thanksgiving. The next month is holiday parties, Christmas gatherings. Oh, let's not forget New Year's Eve. Are we going to ask our Creator, God, what is the right action for our highest and greatest good, and the right protection for myself, for my family, for my friends? How will we deal with this? Dear God, help me. And when we're going to, what are you going to demonstrate that you're told or impressed with? I guess you decide. You will exist by your decision. And sometimes people say to me, what is it you're hung up on this God thing? Because I don't believe Jesus or angels or anything else. I'm always going after that man. They said, why? And I said, I learned very early, you always go to the old man. Moms and the kids don't matter. The boss is the one that you have to go to. And you're probably wondering why I am pushing the plate on this is, well, when I was 10 or 11, I almost did something foolish that caused my death. It was so foolish that I was halfway there. And a voice in my head demanded that I get my act together in a hurry and prevent the outcome, because that voice, told me that I had a contract for this life, and it was my responsibility to complete all aspects, or I'm going to keep coming back until this all activity is completed. Now you have no other choice. So what are you going to do? Well, I froze right there, and I quit doing the crazy activity and made it through it. And I thought, well, that voice in my head, if that's really God's voice, it scared the bejeebies out of me because it seemed to echo every part of my brain. And I thought I was pretty safe. I went home and never told anybody what crazy thing I had done and how close it was for almost curtains. And I went to sleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and this voice is talking to me again. He says, is there any question who's the boss here? And you're going to stay here until you get this. And he used a few cuss words. I was surprised. Because it kind of drove the point home. And I said, where are you? I'm here. Can I turn on a light? Can I see you? No. Where are you? I'm in here. He says, it's nice getting inside your head. I can get in there with no problems. You've got 2 ears that just kind of let things wander around in there. And I thought, are you going to be with me all my lifetime? And he said, you bet your sweet apples. You made a contract with us, and you're going to live it, and you're going to do it. And from now on, we don't want to hear any complaints. All we want to hear is, what options do I have, or how can I get it done? How can I do things on time? Is there anything I can do to help bring that I don't demand the wrong action for this right action? The strange part of it is that I found that I couldn't find anybody else have any contract. I don't know if you have any contracts for this lifetime. They keep falling in place, and they scare me to death. I'm 90, and I'm thinking the other day, I got out my little pills to kind of calm me down, and I said, I'm done with them? And they said, not on your life. I'm 90, I went past 83. And he says, keep taking your tranquilizers. Keep it going. Because you get it done in this lifetime, or we're going to come back next lifetime. Next lifetime, you might be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. And you can just waltz through life with no cares. You know, there's some people, you see them like that, and they said, you know, they had earned that right? I said, you mean all of those goody things that seem to be happening to them all the time, they earned it from another time? Yeah, they got all their garbage cleaned up, and this lifetime they're just here to enjoy the fruits of everything. Are you sure? Is there any question comes back to me in your mind, or how many nights do you want to stay awake with me calling you up and saying, what is it that you need to understand? Because you are going to create tomorrow. What do you want? It's up to you. But I'm with the Creator that made your soul, and Mother Earth made your body, and we put it all together so that you could be here to experience words made flesh. And we give you all the help with angels, if you call them help, even to some of our loved ones who pass on. They keep coming back and help you make it through. You have all these helpers. Why aren't you listening? What are you worried about? Like yesterday, I'm a little off script again, as you can see. yesterday I turned on the TV and I thought, I'll find something interesting to think. The newscast comes on real quick and I thought, well, okay, we'll just think, this is a special. There may be a shortage of this, and there may be a shortage of that, there may be a shortage of something else, and another thing. And he gave all the things there was going to be a shortage of. But he said, but we want you people not going out and hoard stuff. Don't clean out the grocery stores like you did the last time. That's an awful temptation for people to do. The grocery stores will be the only ones, and the people will get rid of their money and whatever. I don't know when they're going to stop trying to shake us, but maybe they're trying to tell us, who are you listening to? The soul inside here that talks to Dad, or the people out here that are looking at your wallet, or looking to see if they can scare you, or make you feel worse than we are. It's a test. And it's interesting that all during my life, every time I go anywhere, I say, I want the right action to take place. I want to make sure nothing goes awry or whatever. And as I've been spending these last months being cooped up here and finding all these ghosts of things years past, like thing of being shot in the neck with a BB gun, and I found someone else had the same experience at that time. But instead of being angry, I just let it go. I let it go. And often I start looking at things coming down the line. I was led into the Navy, and the Navy led me to an educational therapist, and the educational therapist led me to go to college. College found me into the metaphysical world. And then I started to listen to the people who were that I call on helpmates, God's spirits. But I always listen to Dad first, then the helpers. I call them in. I said, no, Dad told me I need to get this thing done right. Now, how am I going to do it? Show me. And then you get this impression how to do it. And you sit down and you start. And you become the executive secretary for God, I think. I always think it. Because he's going to benefit if I do it right. Or people are going to benefit. And I had bosses come up to me and he said, we give you an impossible task, people with lots of degrees having a trouble putting it together. And how come you've got it done and got it right? You're the only one in the state that's got it right. Where did it come from? And I said, oh, I have communion with God. And he looked at me, what do you mean? Well, being he's just the boss, I said, oh, you get a little bit of glass of wine and you take communion. I didn't tell him I was talking to him. He'd think I'd probably put me away in the state hospital or someplace. But he says, well, as long as you keep allowing me having the credit for doing it right, I don't mind how much of that stuff you drink in that little glass. But I didn't tell him I'm talking to God because he really thought maybe I was wrong. And I don't know how I could even be here today if it wasn't for this partnership. Always someone there whispering in my ear, do this, do that. Instead of become offensive by it, I look at it and think, okay, what am I looking at? What am I learning? How can I be stronger and better? And sometimes I kind of lose it. And when I see other people not doing it and I'm doing it, I'm thinking, aren't they listening too? And I'm wondering, what are they missing? But they're not missing anything because they're not seeking. They're not asking. And I don't know who else has contracts. I hope that you all have contracts. It's the best stimulation going. I must have made a few goofs along the way. Some of these things that never stand out right. But it is. It is the best game in town. And There was times when I used to go to see Billy Turner, who was our spiritual advisor, and one of my spirit teachers or directors would come in and talk through his body, and they would lay out things for me, and I would ask him for specific issues that are coming up, so I'd have a sneak preview. And you know what their first statement was? You'll have to find that on your own. That's violating a law over here. You're the seeker, and you're the one that's supposed to find it. We can advise you after you stumble into it, but we can't advise you ahead of time it's coming. And I remember one time when I had trouble with back when I was back in Ohio, I said to them joyously, you would one time give me an idea that I'm going to be laid low, and here it is. And this voice that I heard when I was 10 or 11 in a very deep voice say, no, that one's waiting for you yet. You've got to be in your 50s before that one shows up. Like a normal human being, I whined a little. But then I got back to work and did the Healing Act. And Joe and I, 2 weeks after the back surgery, we're walking up and down hills, crawling down the ditch and everything else. And I looked at him and they said, what are we doing? Only a couple weeks ago we had a back surgery, and here we're out hiking around like nothing is happening. But it's that whole realization of working with them, talking and doing what you're inspired to do, as long as you keep saying, for my highest and greatest good. We want to look into that. What's going to move me down the path? And one of the ladies that I used to know in the first church that I worked in and was a pastor of, she said, we have a game, there was 3 of them. They were all about the same age. We have the same game. And I said, what's that? He said, when the last day comes, it's out the light. You snap the finger and it's gone. We're done. And we know we've finished it. And they kept chiding me to keep doing the right action for the highest and greatest good. And all 3 of them, when the day came, it wasn't painful outward, it was out the light. That easy. And they knew it was there. And one of them, I went to see, she was just admitted to the hospital, and she said to me, I walked in and she shook my hand and she said, okay, how long am I going to be? I said, I won't see you in the morning, that's why I'm here tonight. So have a good trip, enjoy the goodbyes, and we'll see you. I'll hear from you. Her name was Irene. After a while, she did hang around and remind me every once in a while about some of my responsibilities and activities, because she introduced me to this book. She opened the door to more things, even when in the spirit world as she was on the earth plane. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to put myself in harm's way in the next couple months. What is agreement must be completed by me, it still haunts me, because I know there's 1 or 2 of them still sitting out there. I'm here to tell you, I don't want to come back and do this one over again. Any part of it. I think one time, one waltz is enough. 2 waltzes is getting out of the step, and 3 is... So my prayer is that you become aware of your agreements with God for this journey they're on, for your evolution. The only way to make words flesh, what does love feel like? What does unconditional love feel like? When you have so much forgiveness in your heart for everything that's taken place, then you know what love feels like, because you can feel the rhythm of the earth. You can feel the power of God's unconditional love being given to you and to a human person on the earth plane to help you become more. That's why we're here, to climb up that mountain, see what's all that's there, and enjoy the person. This is not a penal colony. I tell everybody that. We're not here to punish you. It's tough. Remember, it's like learning algebra and geometry and trig and all of that stuff. And sometimes it's difficult, things ahead of us. But when you have a partner with you, the difficulty goes away. The trust comes in, and the love follows the trust, and everything works. So we want to be in the reward category. And let's go right now into tuning up, letting go to that place. Feel that unconditional sanctuary that you want to go into in a meditation together. As we lift up our eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh our help? Our help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth, who created the environment on this earth that we may come and make words flesh. And by making words flesh, we bring to this earth and to this universe the true meaning behind unconditional love, acceptance, empowerment, being blessed. Destroying does not make it go away. It needs you to resolve the problem and come to a better understanding of its resolution without destruction of one another or items along the way. You are the ambassadors of the God power on this earth plane. You are here to demonstrate how all of this in the universe works. The healing arts, the inspirations, the creativity that you do, the blessings of your presence, the thrill of being alive, and hear the laughter of the children. It sounds like little bells ringing. And hear the sadness for those who cannot seem to find their niche, and they strike out in anger, which only gives them anger back. And all we can do is bless them with energy that they, someplace inside them, there is that kernel that's full of unconditional love. And it's looking for a place to grow inside every one of us. And when we can see that kernel and send it unconditional love to help it grow, help the person find a way. Maybe they didn't come with an agenda. Maybe they just came to see if they could do it their own self. But when I help them, I help me. Because I understand others by helping them to resolve their difficulties. When I do not hold anger for eternity, I don't have to live in it either. I choose. And through my meditation, through our evolution, through our life experiences, and in the hands of the man who's taken me on the journey, we are blessed, we are loved, we are empowered, and we're going to be able to sing the song of Near My God to Thee. As I mimic, as I demonstrate, as I live this unconditional love, that's a true reason for our evolution. And in this prayer, I give it strength for now and forever. There is only one truth, and I'm trying to walk with it. I'm trying to grow with it, and I will one day be it. And so it is. Amen.
We are thankful and grateful for the team of ministers that make our center the spiritual healing center in Salem. In God's love and Christ's light, in gratitude and giving spirit, I see the face of God in everyone. in love and light this first day of November 2020. Amen.
Arms around the world, around each other. Arms around the world, sisters and brothers. Arms around the world and we discover. Arms around the world, there is no other. So let us join in love and peace. A world as it was meant to be. And we will